I know you're in love, but don't be stupid. Are you taking a loan to do your wedding? Are you, and this is what it is. It's a very expensive party for one day. So you're taking a loan to do a party for one day for people who you're trying to impress. But bro, I should say sis, 2.5 years from now, those people will not be in your house. You know, I find it interesting. We go to modern weddings, but we still ask for dowry. But the man went to the same alliance or Machakos boys. When you were in Machakos girls, he was in Machakos boys. So his parents were paying the same fees. Then, you know, you hear them say, tumemlisha huyu msichana, kwani wewe ulikuwa unafanya nini? Were you breathing air? I mean, what was happening? So ulikuwa unalishwa. Marriage is not supposed to make you happy. Marriage is supposed to make you Christ-like. So, if I'm marrying for happiness, I'm putting a requirement on my partner that they cannot always meet.
Hello, good morning, and a warm welcome to LNS. My name is Lynn Ngugi. Now, are we getting love wrong? I had a guest here by the name Kezi, and she said, Lynn, love is not a feeling, right? Then I bumped into this amazing legend that some of you might know, and he also says, Lynn, love is not a feeling. It's more than that, right? Now, he just told me he's celebrating his 25 years anniversary in marriage, and we wish him all the best, guys. I love telling marriage stories that work because I keep telling you true love is a gift and we all deserving of love. And today I thought it wise to invite him on the show so that he can be able to talk to us more about why love is not a feeling. What exactly do men want from women? Munasemanga sisi ni vichwa ngumu. Today I want to hear it from a man himself. What do men really want from women? So without further ado, please allow me to let him introduce himself. Good morning.
Thank you, Lynn.
How are you?
I'm wonderful. I'm wonderful.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Yes.
I say to people, I'm beautiful.
You are beautiful.
Yes.
It's so good to have you on this show.
Thank you. Yeah.
You know, I know you. Many people I know might not.
Yeah.
But you are a legend. So we are just
So
going
they
to start.
say, yeah.
No, not so they say. It's because you are. Someone told me, Lynn, when people give you your flowers, take them.
Yes.
So today on this show, we want to give
flowers.
you.
Thank
if these
you.
ones
I
could
received
move,
the flowers.
We are giving
Thank
you your
you.
flowers.
Thank
you
you.
so much for being on the show.
Yes.
Yes, please start by introducing yourself.
Well, I'm Pete Odera,
Yes.
the Reverend Dr. Pete Odera. One of the hats I wear is I'm a minister of the gospel.
Yes.
I just retired as the senior pastor of the Waterbrook Church, which I did for almost 50 years.
Yes.
So my next reincarnation, let me say the next iteration of what I'm doing is I'm moving into leadership training.
Yeah.
I wear several hats. So one is a minister.
Yes.
So I preach, I marry couples. I unfortunately sometimes have to do weddings. So that's what I've been doing for almost 20 years now.
Yeah.
But many people know me as a musician.
Yes.
But I'm also a radio host. I host a radio show. I'm a broadcaster, so I host a radio show. It's called Good Morning Africa every Sunday on GOD Radio 1. Every Sunday morning, East African time, 9 a.m.
Yes.
So that's one thing I'm really happy. So I showcase the emerging sound of urban Africa on that show.
Yes.
And then I'm a mentor, so I'm an author as well. So I've written a couple of books. In fact, it's one of the things I'm working on right now. I'm working on 2 other books that I'm bringing out.
Yeah.
So I wear those many hats.
Yes.
But 2 of the other hats that I wear were by choice. So the other things were by vocation and by calling, but the other ones by choice. One is I'm a dad. I'm a dad of 2 adult daughters, Ariel and Michaela. You met them.
Who I just met. They're so lovely.
Yes, they're
so
beautiful.
lovely. They are beautiful.
Yeah, they really are. They're beautiful people as well.
Yes, yeah.
And then of course I'm a husband. Yeah. And so on the 13th of December, 2022, we are celebrating 25 years of marriage to my beautiful Christine Rose Odera.
Yeah.
So it's been an interesting journey, exciting journey, a journey of ups and downs. We've buried our immediate family and relatives, including my late father, both her parents, aunties, grandparents, close to 20. We've endured close to 20 funerals in those 25 years of close family members. And it's been a journey. It's been a journey. It's been a journey of sometimes having, sometimes not having. When we didn't have, both of us were out of work. There was no money, looking at each other and wondering, what are we going to do? But not one day did we go to bed hungry. Not one day in these past 25 years. God. Not one day, Lynn. I cannot remember a single day when we went to bed hungry.
Yes.
So it's been a fantastic journey.
Yes. I like when you trace it back and you still talk about your journey, your marriage, you put on a smile. Do you still tell her, hey, you're gorgeous, you're beautiful, I love you? Do you still affirm to her?
So one of the things that I think I learned over time is that there's a romantic understanding of love that sometimes is a little bit misguided.
Yes.
So you really need to understand that there's a book that I think was written by a gentleman called, I forget the name now, but it's called The 5 Love Languages. Dr. Gary Chapman.
Yeah.
You can go to the website, you can find the book. It's an incredible resource. And as I take people through the whole story of premarital counseling, I give that book as a recommended reading for anybody. You must read that book because everybody has to understand their love language.
Yes.
And Dr. Gary Chapman says that there are 5 love languages, and you need to understand what is your love language. For some people, it's physical touch.
Yes.
For some people, it's works of service. For some people, it's gifts. Yes. For some people, it's time, quality time. For some people, it's something else. So as we look at those 5 different love languages, if your love language is works of service is coming home to a clean house and it's tidy, and those are things that the people, my wife, that's her love language.
Oh, yeah?
So if I'm the one, my love language is quality time.
Yes.
So if I'm there and I want quality time, so it's a mix actually, quality time and words of affirmation. Yes. So you're there giving me words, you're there telling me, clean the kitchen. That's not my love language. I'll do it.
Yes, but
so if the kitchen is clean, great. If it's not, it's okay. I'm not going to die.
Yeah.
She prefers a clean kitchen. I'm just telling you the true story. Understanding her love language. So then saying, if I love my wife, rather than tell her I love her, the better thing is to show her. So
you're going to clean the kitchen.
Clean the kitchen. Make sure it's clean. Whether you're the one, whether it's the girls who clean it.
Yes.
And we have now we have a lady who comes in twice a week to clean.
Yeah.
But that's her love language.
Yes.
And if you don't understand your partner's love language, you can love them with everything, your toes, your nails, everything, every fiber of your body, but you're speaking the wrong language. Oh. So if your partner's love language is words of affirmation, but there you are, doing your whatever it is that you need to do, and you're at cross purposes. Yeah. So this is the thing that I say. I've understood my wife's love language. So it's true, people like to be told, but she prefers the works of service. Fix the car. Make sure that the car is running. If there's a light bulb missing, and I'm not the handy guy around the house. She's the handyman in the house. Yeah. Oh. One day she just woke up and painted the house when we used to live not too far from here. Yeah. Just woke up one day and said, I'm going to paint the house. And I said, I just could not see myself painting the house. And there are many men who say, mimi, kama mwanaume, ati mwanamke
anipaintie nyumba.
Hapana, sitafanya. I said, okay, God bless you, do you. That ain't me. I'm sorry, I know me. I will get a painter.
Yes.
I'll get a painter because one side of my brain is a perfectionist. And because I'm an artist, I studied graphic arts. And so I'm going to paint, and if I see one brushstroke, I'll start again. I'll spend 2 months painting one wall. What is that?
Yes.
That is not healthy.
It's not.
Yeah, because I've seen how I am with my music.
Yeah.
I've seen how I am a man. They keep telling me you're a man of excellence. I like excellence.
Yes.
I prefer it, the way I dress, the way I want excellence. But now, when you're doing this thing, I'm not a craftsman. I'd rather call Omondi the carpenter.
Yes.
I'd rather call Jenga the plumber. I call Jenga the plumber, say Jenga help me fix this thing. Because otherwise the house will flood.
Yes.
And that's what it is. Understanding love language.
Yes.
So love isn't just flowers. Love isn't just, oh baby, I love you. I told you. Yeah, some girls just say, by the way, don't talk to me. Show me.
I'm actually those girls. Don't talk to me.
Yeah. Show me. Now, unfortunately, we have an entire generation who's now transactional and materialistic. And the materialistic and transactional people say, give me money. Mimi usiniambie unanipenda, nitumie M-Pesa.
Yes.
Which is materialism, you see. Because now, if you're saying that mapenzi yangu inapitia kwenye simu, and it's become that kind of a rat race.
Yes.
So, yeah, I'd like our story to be that we still tell each other, I love you and whatever, but it's been difficult. There's been some difficult moments.
Yeah.
There've been some doubtful moments. Does this girl really love me? Aki, msichana. Amenionyesha mambo. And I'm sure if she was sitting here, she's super gracious, by the way.
Yes.
I always say that my wife was supposed to be an ambassador's wife. She was supposed, some ambassador alikosea tu njia siku hiyo. And nikaangukia. I was so blessed. If you meet her, let me tell you, everybody says, wow, your wife, she's poised. She's taught me some things about grace and poise that I didn't have. Listen, I've always been a gentleman. I've always been well-spoken. But this girl has polished me. She's made me look even better because she has standards. Now, to say that doesn't mean that she's always been the best person. And the vice versa is the truth. I haven't always been the best person. No. So this is the reality. To keep 25, when was this? This week was Kefa Omai, Bishop Kefa Omai's 31st wedding anniversary. So they're above me by like 6 years. But he said something very important. And we hear this at weddings. I really wish I could say it in Gikuyu because it's always said at Gikuyu weddings. And they say, I'll say it in Swahili, kitu ya muhimu ni kusamehana. I always wondered, before I got married, what do you mean kusamehana? Samehana. Forgive one another. Learning to forgive and even overlook faults is going to keep you happy for a long time. So if I keep record of wrongs, and the thing is, because I'm a man of detail, I keep records
of wrong. Any records.
And so I have to challenge myself. And as a believer, as a minister of the gospel, I must lead by example.
Yes.
And so now I say, okay, let's keep those records.
Yeah.
Let's what's the word? Erase the records. Let's erase the records so that we're not keeping record of wrong. Do you remember on Tuesday the 23rd what you did? This is what you did to me. And I can remember those details. I remember things about when I was 5 years old. And it can be quite difficult. So having said that, also Lynn, people are coming from different places. I've done weddings for people who, when I met them, I thought they were okay. They seemed okay. 5-6 years into the marriage, it is falling apart. Why? They came unbeknownst to me and completely unbeknownst to them that they were damaged goods. So what I'm trying to do now as I go into marriages is say, guys, go and see a therapist. Take 2 or 3 sessions. Let's figure out where you are. Because we don't want you 3-4 years into the marriage that you're taking out knives and chasing your husband around the house at night and the neighbors are coming to rescue the man because, kumbe, you had wounds from when you were 7. And this is what I'm finding, that there are people who have been deeply abused. It's so covered, they look nice, they put on their makeup, they look nice at the wedding. And I'm so happy we've taken them through premarital counseling, but this thing doesn't show up in the premarital counseling because I'm not a psychologist. But a psychologist will be able to pick up and say, there's a problem here. This is deep Oedipus complex. This person is looking for a father. They have actually married you because you're old and you remind them of their dad, but you're not her father. If you marry your father, that's incestuous.
Yes.
And how can you marry your father? But subconsciously, this is what women tend to do. Men tend to subconsciously marry their mother. And so when we're dealing with these things, it says, please go and see a therapist, because you can't be you can't be dealing with mommy wounds and daddy wounds and coming into the marriage and then saying it's going to be okay when it's not. So this is what I'm finding. Yeah. So I want to be real. Part of the reason you're seeing the viciousness, the violence in marriage is because people are coming having been wounded. And that wounding is so deep. Let me give you an example.
Sure.
So my anecdotal study has shown that there's a certain areas of our country where you will find a certain kind of violence where women kill their husband. And you wonder, why would a woman wake up, take a knife, a panga, a machete, whatever it is, and just brutally, and they don't kill him one. I mean, they're stabbing him 27 times. Yes. He was dead by the second one, but you stabbed him 27 times. Why? And then when they interview, he's a drunkard. And if you check where they came from, you find now there's a culture of drunkenness. Now, I've got nothing against Central Province, as you know, but there's some areas in Central Province where this is rampant. And it's not because of an unknown factor. If you go back and you study those areas where alcoholism is rife, where you find single mothers are more than normal, you'll find that something happened to the men. What happened to the men? If you go back to the time of the emergency in the 1950s, the men left, especially, and this is where Central had a high impact with the colonials.
Yes.
And they went into the bush to fight. So if you go to certain areas of Nyeri, certain areas here of Kiambu, where the war was intense, these men went, some were killed, so the women had to now, for the period of time, up to 8 years, live without the men. They learned how to do this thing. When the men came back, those who came back had seen things, and they went through PTSD, a thing that was now being diagnosed in the 60s and 70s in the US after the Vietnam War. So these men were going through PTSD. The only way they knew how to deal with it is, when I drink, I forget my troubles. I forget the dead bodies I saw. And so the women now say, these men are useless. So you find women from those particular places, very strong character, very, and they're rough, because they had to learn, and their mothers then taught them that this is the way women are. It's not the way women naturally are. It's that your mother was like that, your grandmother was like that, because of the emergency. This was an abnormal situation, and that perpetuates itself. And so now you're marrying into a family where the woman has a heritage of 3 generations of women who hate alcoholics and are very independent. And you had no such history in your family. Your grandfather was a bishop. Your father was an elder. It was an elder. You grew up nicely in Nairobi, but you're marrying into a family where there's this trauma, generational trauma. And then you say, I do, and happily ever after. There's no happily ever after there. Why? Because she inherited the trauma. And you're figuring, what is going on here? What is wrong with this woman? You've had that. Nini mbaya na msichana? Oh, na huyu mwanamke. Nini mbaya? The truth is, yes, kuna kitu mbaya, but if you are patient and you go into therapy and you walk and prayerfully and walk her through, that is the result of true love. True love walks. What does the Bible say? Love is patient. First thing, patient. Love is patient. So if a patient person is demonstrating love.
You know what? Admittedly, this is the first time someone has made me understand.
Mukoroini.
This is the first time I'm understanding why violence cases are rampant, especially with women from Central Kenya.
Those particular
areas, not all, those particular areas.
That is not to say also that you don't find violence in other parts of the country.
Yes,
but because there's violence in every culture.
Yeah.
But this kind of violence comes particularly because of trauma.
Oh, goodness. So be patient. Walk your partner through the traumas.
And before you commit, kabla hujachukua hiyo pete, tafadhali fanya utafiti. Do your research and say, 6 years, what is her mother like? Where did you guys come from? Am I going to wake up one day and find myself with Kwapanga, kwa shingo? Am I going to find this? And it goes both ways, study it. Because, we've glamorized marriage because of all the wedding shows. The wedding shows have glamorized marriage. I say, bro, umeangusha 4M, 10 million at a wedding. Mutakula nini kesho? If you can afford it, awesome. This is what I tell young couples. I say to them, look, I know you're in love, but don't be stupid. Are you taking a loan to do your wedding? Are you, and this is what it is. It's a very expensive party for one day. So you're taking a loan to do a party for one day for people who you're trying to impress. But bro, I should say sis, 2.5 years from now, those people will not be in your house.
And that's a fact.
Yeah, that's a fact. Afadhali mfanye ka wedding kadogo, just as humble as you are. Have some few extra guests. Ni kama bash. Simfanya bash. Invite the pastor after the service. They will do it in the church. If, you do church things, do it. But I say it's important for us to now have the right foundation. All I'm saying is that the right foundation, so that we're not coming into the space of love with romanticized ideas. And I don't think there's anything wrong with romance. I mean, the girl likes it when you pull out the chair. They love it when you open the door for her. Yeah, but you know what? She can actually get the door for herself.
True story.
Yeah, she can get the door for herself.
I'm going to pull the chair for myself too.
Yeah. But here's the thing, the reciprocity of that also is that it's not just chivalry. Wasn't romance both ways? What happened to the woman who wrote those letters? So I open the door for you, write me a letter. Write me a letter with petals, Yeah, put some petals there. And she's smitten by me. I feel like, lyrics zangu zimefika mahali. Si ati nafungua mlango, ndio mimi najua everything. Everything ain't on me.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a two-way street. And this is the thing that makes relationships work, when it's on a two-way street.
It's not. And this is now where we get into love is not a feeling.
It isn't.
It's not, I love you.
Yeah.
Oh.
Love is not only a feeling, because clearly love is emotional. There's an emotion called love. But I teach this all the time. I say, the Bible has at least 4 words for Greek words. The Greeks had at least 4. I think if I counted properly, they had 9, but let me talk about the 4. So one was eros, from where we get erotic love. And this was this romantic love that most of us, this is the one in the movies, the one in the songs that they cry about, oh, am I supposed to live without you? That's eros. Eros. And eros is insane, because eros demands reciprocity. It demands, if I do this for you, you must reciprocate. Eros demands. You've heard of love unrequited?
Yes.
Eros is the one that says, okay, she doesn't love me. I'm going to die. I want to die. I want to die. And, because if you've ever been in love, the person says, ati, kwa sababu ya upendo, uliniambia ati upendo, ati unataka kufa. That person has never been in love.
Yes.
If you've ever been in love, it's abnormal. It doesn't make sense. You walk through listen, I walked through the rain because of this girl. Through the rain. I'm going to see her. To just say, I only want to see her, that's all. Not that we're going, you've never even kissed. I just want to see you and say hi. Then I walk in the rain again to go where I'm going. Kunanyesha. You're going, pneumonia, my friend. That's eros. Eros makes you do crazy things. Then there's storge, which is now the love within families. It's the love that mother has for her child, what the Greeks called storge. And that's it's a very natural love. If a person does not have natural affection for their kids, something is wrong. So you saw me introduce you to my daughters. I'm proud of them. Yes. They're mine. Sometimes but I feel butterflies sometimes when I see them. I say, oh, I'm so happy about them. Storge. Then there's another love they call in the Bible called phileo, which is the root word for Philadelphia, which means brotherly love. And that's friendship, where people have an affinity for friendship. Yeah. And so phileo means that I have a best friend. I have a couple of friends. One was my best man. The other is groomsman. I've known these guys for like 40 years. they have my X funds, everything. If I don't talk to them for 2 weeks, we're not going to separate. We're good. That's phileo. You know that friend who loves you, and you call them at 2 a.m. and they'll pick up and they'll just say, I'm coming. Yeah. That's phileo. And then there's agape. Agape is the kind of love that's unconditional. It's unconditional. It's such a love that goes beyond feelings. It sees my wrong and goes beyond my wrongs and supports. It's the one that now says, that's what the Bible is teaching when it's saying love is patient. It's not saying Eros is patient. By the way, Eros is very impatient. Agape is patient. Agape is patient. Agape is kind. Love is patient. Love is kind. That's agape. And agape is what we really miss in the world. Yeah. Because agape is the one that now says, I can go across the political divide and say, listen, you're from a different tribe, but let me high five you because we're in ndugu yangu. Yeah. So agape is what we need. And agape, I don't have to be your relative. I don't have to be married to you to love you. Agape is the one that sees somebody in the street and says, hey, let me pull up the handbrake. Nani kuja nikununulie mkate. That's agape.
That's agape.
That's the kind of love that God loved us with. Because God sees all our stupidity. He looks at me and says, Pete Odera, wewe ni pastor. Na bado nafanya hizi vitu. Wewe, I still love you. That is agape.
Yeah. Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
If you are just to define love, how would you define it?
I'd say love has different expressions. Love is emotional. Love is intellectual. So you have an intellectual commitment. That's what I call it. So love sometimes is an intellectual commitment. Love is also what I call now a lifestyle. Because I'd like to say love is the foundation of the kingdom of God. So when you make love your foundation, you walk into a boardroom very differently. You're not insecure about, when you know you are loved, you walk into the boardroom very differently. Yeah. You show up very differently when you're loved.
Everything shines bright.
Yeah. So love is also not just a commitment. Love is also a verb. Love is also a verb. So love does. Love does. And what does love do? Love will do things for you that other things will not. So love does. Then love gives. So love is more than an emotion. Love is a commitment. Love does, it's a verb, and love gives.
And love gives. I love that. Oh, goodness. And I like that you've said it's not a straight line.
No,
it's been bumpy. And you learn through the experiences. But now, moving forward.
Yeah.
Let me just be honest with us here on the show. Because my show, I know a lot of women are watching today. If I was just to ask you, Nini, what do men want from women that we get wrong maybe, or some areas?
Yeah.
You are going to your 25th year of marriage, right?
Yeah.
So if you look back, the bumpiness, all the things that you've been through, the lessons you've picked, what do you think men really want from women?
Yeah. 3 things. I'll say 3 things, and these are not even original. So a really great friend of mine, we're not as close as we should be, I say. But Reverend Simon Bevy wrote a book about men. And he says men want 3 things. Men want affection, men want admiration, and men want acceptance. Those 3 things. It's really that simple. You know when people say men are simple? Now, I want to say that men are different. Because remember we also come with backgrounds. So you remember what I've said? So this, your Mukurweni and Kiambu are having this background.
Yes.
But men also come with their individual backgrounds. There's this background. So there's the background. There's their vocation. There's their experience. And then they walk into the place. So some men have been socialized. So I say 3 things. So let me say, men have been socialized to do 3 things. 1, to be defined by their physical capacity. So people say, ni mwanaume, and they do this thing to mean physical strength. And then men have been socialized to be financial capacity. So I was going to look for a house once, not too far from where we are today, and in the leafy suburbs. And the guard told me, hii nyumba inahitaji mwanaume kuichukua, because now talking about financial capacity.
Yes.
And then, which made me think that sisi ambao hatuwezi kuchukua hii nyumba, sisi ni wanaume kweli. It makes you start thinking. And then men have been defined also by their sexual capacity. In high school, our peers and our older brothers in high school, you're 13, you walk in there's a 15-year-old who's saying, hey, I did this and I did this and and if you like this, then you are a real man. Imagine. And some of that stuff stays with us until we're 43. So imagine a 15-year-old gave advice that you kept until you're 43. I'm 53 now.
Wow.
But there's this advice that I was told in high school that I said, this was a 16-year-old boy telling me at 13 what sex is. What does a 16-year-old boy know about sex? Little. Little. He hid behind some bush somewhere with some girl and did something. And then he came back and said, yay. Because if men want admiration, and men want affection, and men want acceptance, but here he is posturing because he's physically strong, and then he becomes sick. Like me, 2022, I've never been hospitalized in all my life. I've never been admitted in a hospital until 2022. I'm 53. I felt like I was dying. 3 or 4 times I've been in and out of hospital this year, and I said, oh my goodness, what's going on? Is my manhood defined by I'm still a man. I may be sick, but I'm still a man. And so, of course, now comes the other complications. So, if you lose your job, are you still a man? I have a friend who I met some years back, and he's very bold to talk about it. He lives in South Africa. He's a South African gentleman, and he lost his sexual capacity for some reason, for a long time. So even if he wanted to, he couldn't. Is he still a man? You see, now there's many men who will say, chana na historia. But when it comes to you can easily do your keyboard warrior things, but when it comes to you will admit that you want admiration. You want your woman to admire you. You want her to accept you, and you want her affection. We may not say it, but the reason, Johnny Gill, you name all these, what are these, my friends, Heart the Band, utakunywa nini. Now, why are they doing all this? Because they want the girl to accept them. The reason for that song, Atoti, is not because I just want to treat you well. I want you to accept me. Behind all that is a desire for acceptance. I want Lynn to look at me and say, man, I really admire you. Mm-hmm. Oh, look at you. And when we do that, we feel good. So
you're telling me,
yes,
all a man wants from a woman.
3 A's, by the way.
Acceptance.
Accept this man. Listen, akija kwako na ni jamaa kingine kutoka mjengo. Mulipatana mjengoni. Hapo kwa mjengo. Then let it be like that. Let it be like that. Accept him you may be pushing your Prado, whatever it is, and you see a guy of mjengo and you accept him. Let me tell you, found a way into his heart.
Oh.
He will do anything. If you accept him, he'll do anything.
Yes.
If you listen, let me tell you, you want this chair moved. No, sasa wewe unaketi aje and this chair needs to be moved. Move, you don't be such a lazy man. You'd rather say it like this and say, oh my goodness, you're such a strong man. You are so strong. You're so strong. You're so strong. I really admire your strength. Your strength is so amazing. Look at you, all those muscles rippling. All those muscles rippling. Look at you, strength. The guy will develop a hernia trying to move the chair. So acceptance, admiration.
So admiration. Yeah. So that's acceptance.
Yeah.
Admiration.
So you need to admire the person. You need to say, I admire.
Naka hakuna kitu ya kuadmire.
Basi sasa.
It's not hamtaendanisha.
Yeah. And sometimes what it takes is for you to dig deeper. So you see, we're in a generation that's very appearance oriented. So mtu akikaa sijui yako aje, amekaaje, anaendesha sijui nini, we now say, yeah, this is that. Because of course we always look at the surface. Yes. The first thing we'll always see is the surface. It's really interesting. I relate this to the Bible. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth became void and without form. Yeah. And the Spirit of God was hovering over the surface of the deep. Why? The deep is always the things we don't see. Gold is not found on the surface of the earth. Very rarely it's found deep. So if you listen, if you will see, if you can go beyond the surface, so regardless of what he has, regardless of what he drives or if he drives at all, if you can go beyond that and see what is deeper, that deep is what will really support you in the future. And you know how I always wondered about this thing. There's a couple I know much older, and they fought, and the man would say before he died, he said, I can't move without the lady. She lived abroad at the time. He was telling his kids, I need her to come back. And she would say, but why? Just do your thing. This is very important. I now realize, because I would like a woman, the man wants a woman to believe in him. And all the men said amen, to believe in him. Because he can do all he does, but if you never say, I believe in you, I really believe in you. So the secretary in the office says, oh, Mr. So-and-so, I believe in you. Not because she necessarily believes in him, but he's paying the check. I believe in you. So when he's out there and somebody else is believing in him, but you're the one always saying, you're really not doing anything in life. Look at you not doing anything in life. Let me tell you, there's some women who have understood this secret. They get anything from their man. Anything. Even from other men. They say, hey, by the way, I believe in you. I believe in you. The man, you don't have to tell him twice. He chucks his checkbook, goes into debt, kills himself trying to please you. Because you believe in him.
Yeah. Okay. Now, that's what men want us to do. You, what will you do?
I don't know. I don't really know how to answer that question. Because you see, women are also different. One of the things I know women want is security. A woman wants to feel safe. A woman wants to feel safe. Now, different women want that at a different capacity. And that brings us now down to our love languages. So if you come into the relationship saying, I want what my dad was able to give me. Many times I've had to say, excuse me, he's not your father. You wanted something from your dad, go and talk to your dad. And if your dad is unfortunately deceased, then I'm sorry, I cannot be your father. I can't. And I shouldn't.
It's not fair.
And in fact, let me tell you what's happened. Many African women then say, you lose your name and then you start being called daddy, which is fine if it's your kids, but daddy.
It's zaddy.
Now it's that, isn't that what it is? Yeah, because I think, unfortunately, there's a huge population. What was the statistics now? There were over 40% of our countries are coming from single-family homes. Yeah. Over 40%. 40%, Lynn. Over 40%. That means there's women out there, 40% of our women are more likely than not to be looking for their dad. For me, I made a decision. I said, I will never have my children see me either drunk or violent towards their mother, because I don't want that. And they've never seen me drunk again. The reason I don't drink is because of my children. It's because I made a commitment. I said, I don't want my wife or my kids to go through what I went through. And by God's grace, we've been able to attain that. And so that's for me. And I think it's just your personal values. Yeah. If you're in a place of personal values. So here's the thing. What men need, and I was talking at the Man Cave, and we're doing this event called the Man Cave, where men come. And this is what I was saying to them. I was saying to the men, let's reconstruct this thing. Let's establish some basic values. What are our basic values? Integrity. Let's walk in integrity. Keep your word. Be a man of your word. Say, I'll be there at 4. I'll be there at 4.
Be there at 4?
Be there at 4. And if I can't make it, I'm going to call you. So integrity is lacking. Be a man of your word. And I think that's important. Be present. Be present. Okay, so now you're estranged. It's easy to say be present when, you have a nuclear family. But what if you're divorced be present. Yes. Your kid still needs you. Yes. Be present. Yeah. And you'll be surprised. Your kid doesn't want things from you. Your kid wants you. I think if we're gonna do this correctly, I feel that women also have to stop making men ATMs. Yeah. Sips coffee,
the men said amen?
I find it interesting. We go to modern weddings, but we still ask for dowry. But the man went to the same alliance or Machakos boys. When you were in Machakos girls, he was in Machakos boys. So his parents were paying the same fees. Then, you hear them say, tumemlisha huyu msichana, kwani wewe ulikuwa unafanya nini? Were you breathing air? I mean, what was happening? So ulikuwa unalishwa. Why is it not reciprocated? So in our modern day society, to really put a price, what they call bride price on a bride, is unreasonable without thinking about that, hey, but the guy went through the same thing. Is the family not going to be subject? Hakuna mtu wa kupika sasa kwa sababu msichana ametoka. I say, yeah, but the guy is not staying home to chunga ngombes. She is also working, and the girl is working. What was she doing? She was working, she was staying on her own. Mm-hmm. So now you're actually lying about this thing. So we're keeping this, like I said, Simon Sinek says it in his book, Start With Why. I think it's Start With Why.
Yeah, Start With Why. It
says culture always trumps strategy. And we really need to break some cultural strongholds that we have in our country and Africa that hinder. And I'm not saying throw away our Africanness. Yes. I'm an African. I'm proud. I'm proud of my negritude. But I also say there are some things we need to park. We need to say this thing, I to side. So are you saying do away with bride price? I'm not saying no. Let's be reasonable. Let's see that the things that are helpful to our advancement, let's keep them. The things that are not helpful, let's park them.
I really love that, honestly, because I feel like, I don't know, my problem with modern day marriage, as you've put it, it's that it's like a transaction. Yeah. Right? It's like, I honestly feel sorry for the men sometimes. I look at them and how much they are trying to make their women happy, but they are just transactions after letter E, mbuzi 100. I mean, where am I going to get 100 mbuzis to bring into? And you are right, we all grew in the same economic status. So where do you expect me to get 100 mbuzi kondo saba just to have your, I understand the appreciation aspect of it. Yes, we raised this woman, but I was also the man was also raised.
Wazazi wangu hawapati mbuzi.
Unaona how all they get, it's this animosity in the gate, mwezi ingia mpaka mlete hii na hii na hii.
And this is true, Lynn, and unfortunately, I'm sorry to interrupt. Unfortunately, what that does is that because now I've bought you na hizi mbuzi, you're mine, I can do what I want with you.
Ownership.
You see? So I can do what I want with you. Na usiniambie, na usinilete. That kind of attitude is what many men have now gotten into. Do you know what I did to get you? You see, this is what's informing that thing. Now I'm not saying, listen, mwanaume pia ni kujitolea.
Effort.
Yeah, let him do his thing. But I'm saying that if all you're doing is a transaction, you've got the relationship thing wrong. And this is the unfortunate thing is that we're demonstrating. Now I have only girls, but the picture they've seen of a man is me.
Yes.
I am the picture of manhood that they've seen. I need to do a good job of it. So that when Mr. Man himself comes to see, they'll say, hang on a second, my dad never did that to me. Now, I'm not saying that because I have very high standards, they must marry their dad. No. What I am saying, though, is that I must maintain a certain standard, a certain value, this protection, whatever it is that I need to do as a man to be there for them. And I think that this is important.
Yes.
This is important for us.
I want to take you back. Sure. I know this I'm a bit off topic, but you mentioned something about dating damaged people and you wanting to settle down with someone who is undergoing a lot of trauma. Yeah. And you mentioned, let's be patient. Let's help them through the therapy sessions and all this. So why can't I just marry this person? I already know this person is dealing with this. So why can't I marry this person and still help them in their recovery, right? Or how do I deal with my damaged partner?
Right. Okay. I think that's a better question. If you're not a therapist, usijifanye sasa mimi, I'm going to help this man. I'm going to help this man get better.
Yes.
Or I'm going to help this woman get better. It doesn't always work. And you frustrate yourself. leave that work to the therapist. The least you can do is pray for the person. And God does miracles. He changes people. I've seen it happen. I've seen alcoholic abusers completely transform. Now, that being said, sometimes what you say is, I'm committed to this marriage. So that takes commitment. I'm committed because I teach, this is okay, I'm sorry. It's kind of radical and people are not going to agree with me. And that's fine. I don't mind. I don't mind people disagreeing with me on this one. Marriage is not, you know how it says, my marriage completes me. That's not what it's supposed to do. The model of marriage did not start with men. The model of marriage started with God. God is the one who put them together. What God has put together, let no man put asunder. That's what goes into the scriptures. Okay, so what am I saying? I heard one bishop say something that stayed with me forever. Marriage is not supposed to make you happy. Marriage is supposed to make you Christ-like. So, if I'm marrying for happiness, I'm putting a requirement on my partner that they cannot always meet. Maybe they're not even equipped. How am I, now I'm guessing that, see, I'm 27, 30, I'm now saying, this girl can make me happy.
She makes me happy.
Yeah. Now. She makes you happy now. When she hasn't seen your form, your brand of madness. After 2.5 years, your brand of madness will now come out.
And she's
she'll say, by the way,
bye, Felicia.
Yeah. Bye, Felicia. Deuces. I'm out. Yes. And millennials now, they just tell you, hey, by the way, it's real. I can do bad all by myself. I'm out. Deuces. See you in court. So yes. So I think it's a lot to marry someone, and what is that word in Swahili? We say, raha jipe mwenyewe. In other words, I shouldn't expect happiness from you. If I do, it's icing on the cake. Yes. It's icing on the cake. Yes. Now, like I said, not many people will agree with me. Yes. You're telling me that my wife shouldn't make me happy. She will. She will, if you choose right and you do the right things. Yeah. But you're not here to complete this person. You're here to become Christ-like. Now, maybe you're not a Christian, and that's, but listen, the principle applies. The principle here is important, is that you're transforming into a better form of yourself. Yeah. You see. Yeah. So if if the principle is to become a better person, then allow me to get into this relationship with the agreement that, hey, listen, here it is. I'm not perfect. I'm self-aware to know that these are my flaws. I'm showing you my wounds. Here are my wounds. But I expect that you will hold me accountable. I expect that you hold me. When I'm being an idiot, you can tell me, excuse me, honey, you're being an idiot. Yeah. But you're my idiot. Yeah. Come, let me help you. Yeah. And if I can't help you, I say, okay, listen, come, let me show you. There's a therapist. Oh, there's a pastor. Here, there's a mentor. Here, twende kwa wazazi. Yeah. So that now the community, I need to build also around that a circle so that you're not feeling like you're in this alone. So most men, let me tell you, need accountability. It's not what we always want, but we need it. So that's number 4. Yes. We don't want it, but we need accountability. Yeah. We need a place where somebody can tell us, hey, I say, Nani, straighten your collar. And when I say straighten your collar, it's not just this collar I'm talking about. I'm talking about, there's some things off. So accountability is 3 ways. Accountability is upward to a mentor, a pastor, a parent. Accountability is upward. Yeah. So a pastor, spiritual leader, father, somebody. So accountability is upward. Accountability is also horizontal. It's also vertical. Yeah. But it's also horizontal. So going to a set of peers. So I'm accountable to my group. So who are his friends? Who are your friends as girls? Who are your girls who you hang out with? Are you accountable to each other? Can they call you out? If all you do is drink sangrias on Sunday afternoon and do ha 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 and take IG pictures and you're not accountable to each other, you're digging a hole for yourself. So accountability is upwards. So have a mentor, spiritual authority, somebody above you who you can always talk to. Yeah. Have a group of peers who are accountable, who have similar goals to you and values. And then accountability is downwards because my kids are watching me. So I'm accountable to my kids. They need to be able, and Michaela, my youngest, is the one who will call me out and say, but Dad, did you not say? But Dad. So somebody who can say to you, hey, Jama, but below you. So there's some young men I'm mentoring who've just entered, 5 of them who've just entered university. And in as much as they feel they're accountable to me, I'm also accountable to them. You see, so accountability works 3 ways.
3 ways.
Upwards, vertically, and down. Upwards, horizontal, and downwards. Yeah.
I love
so
that.
that's important.
Yeah. Allow me to touch on your marriage a bit.
Sure.
You said choice, by choice. You are a husband and a father by choice.
Yes.
Because I'm thinking, the problem is, I want to go into marriage for someone to complete me, right? I don't want.
God help you.
Yes, yeah. I don't want to do the work for myself. I know I'm lacking.
Yeah.
I know there are some areas about myself I need to work, but I don't want to put in the work.
Yeah.
So I want you to marry me because I think you are going to complete me.
Yeah.
Is that where the problem is?
That is absolutely. In fact, you're digging for yourself a hole. Now, some men are so insecure that they look deliberately for a woman like that. Now, me, I've said, I can't. So you're the one who needs a servant. You need a slave. Good on you. I don't need a slave. I need somebody who's sharp and say, hey, honey, we're going to make investments together. Hey, I think umeblanda kwa hii story. That's the kind of person who's involved with me at a certain intellectual capacity. Please come with me. Because if you're a dumb dodo, whatever you like, your highness kind of person, oh, God bless you, that ain't my girl. But if that's the kind of person, if that's the kind of person that you like, hey, do you. But here's the thing. If you're a woman and you're looking to be completed, okay, what happens when that man is absent? So he comes and he's got the cars, he dresses you up, he does everything, then he dies. Or he gets a stroke. Then what?
Wow.
Will he really complete you still?
On
you see,
to the next one.
Isn't that putting a lot of responsibility on somebody?
That's a lot.
Isn't that a lot of responsibility? Why would you give somebody that kind of power over you?
It's a lot, though. It's unfair.
Yeah.
It's
it is unfair.
a lot. Yeah.
I say, you're absolutely right. Do the work. Do the work. Because, you've gone to university. And even if you haven't, you've had an education. Why are you going to just hang around and be allowed? Really? In the 21st century? Please. Such a fantastic thing that I came across another day. How, we used to marry for children and for business. We marry for children for business. So we'd marry, in fact, it would be an arranged marriage, and we'd marry because our families work well together and they'll give you good children.
Yeah, can I add also for society?
No. So that's that marriage that was arranged. And then we had mistresses for love. We loved our mistresses. We kept our wives.
Oh.
You see what I mean?
Yes.
That's how it used to work. But now, with modern marriage, you're supposed to love your wife and also keep the society thing, have children with her and whatever. And then now she provides you with this romantic love thing. And this has been the monogamy has been it's not, I'm going to say something. Monogamy is not a natural thing. Now people say, no, but God created you like this. But listen.
But God gave Adam only one woman.
He did. But when sin entered the world, it caused this dichotomy of problems that then said, now, I can't meet all my needs here. I need to go somewhere else. You see what I mean? So in essence, and then the way society is now structured, I know I'm going to get some flack for this, but the way society is structured, society doesn't help monogamy at all. It does not help monogamy at all. So now you're walking into this relationship and you're saying now, and this is what I say, and you're trying to do it without divine assistance. You're trying to be monogamous without some kind of basic values that are inside. It's not going to happen. So how do you stay monogamous? You develop values. And that's why I say, this is why we read the Bible, to develop values. My values are based on, I'm not monogamous because it's convenient. It is inconvenient. A good-looking man like me, who's this and this and this.
A great voice.
Yeah, and all this attention. Are you telling me that that's easy to be monogamous? It's not. It's not, Lynn. It's not. But you choose. You choose. And you choose every day. So you don't just choose 25 years ago. You say, okay, I chose 25 years ago, but today I choose to choose again. You see what I mean? So that at the base of it, where is this choice coming from? My values. You see my point now. So my point is, because we've now grown in a non-monogamous society, we've grown in an absentee father sort of space. So monogamy is not natural to us anymore. And we're fallen creatures. So that's why I talk about reconstruction. Let us reconstruct marriage as well and say, can we take marriage to its original model? And then bring that model, because that then forms the basis of our values. And then bring that and then say, this is how a marriage is supposed to be. Kingdom marriages work like this. This is how kingdom marriages work. Because if we were divorcing like people who don't have God at the same rate, then there's no difference. What we have to demonstrate is that we understand values. What is marriage? It's a covenant. We don't just go and stand in front of people and say, hey guys, what's up? What's up? This is cool. Officiant, yay. No, what we were doing was we were cutting covenant. That's what marriage is about. Marriage isn't about my happiness. Let's look at the bigger picture. What is marriage really about? What is marriage? If God invented marriage, what is it really about? It's about, the Bible talks to us about Christ and his bride. What we're doing in marriage is modeling what Christ is with his bride. And what is that? His bride is the people. God loves people. This is who he's soliciting. He's saying, I want to bring my bride back to me. Where is my bride? Where is my bride? So what, and this is what I tell couples when they come to me for premarital counseling. I said, you know what you're asking for? You're asking God for permission to demonstrate to the world what it's like to have a relationship with a bride. What Jesus' relationship with his bride is. That's really what, so when you look at a marriage, that's what it's supposed to be. So what I'm trying to do is model the relationship between Christ and his bride, the church.
Yeah.
So when I look at Christine, and listen, the Bible says this, he loved us first when we didn't love him. So what am I doing? I love her even if she doesn't love me back. That's been Christ-like. And what does she, you see, when you look at the model, it throws everything out. It's the whole compatibility. Christ is not, I'm not compatible with Christ. I hate God naturally. And we don't like that. But if you read Romans, that's what it says. Romans teaches us that all have sinned and we hate God. We hate God. We hate his authority. That's naturally how we are. But then he loves us still. If you look at the model of the bride in Hosea, she was a prostitute. She wasn't just a prostitute. She was out there and she wasn't even selling it now. She was just giving it for free to anybody. And God said, I love you still. Come back to me.
Goodness.
That's what I'm talking about. Now, that kind of love, no, we're not ready for that. We're not ready for that. We're not ready for, I'm going to love you anyway. I love you until you start walking the streets. I love you till you start walking the streets. Because our love is limited. That's why we have to go to agape. The model shouldn't be, listen, hey, I'm okay for people to look at me and say that's how marriage should be. But I'm saying, no. Follow me as I follow Christ. When I stop following Christ, suspend that account and follow Christ. Follow Christ. Because I'm not perfect. I'm going to mess up. I'm going to mess up. And when I do, count it to my human nature.
Yeah. Talk to me about forgiveness.
Oh.
Because what I'm picking is, if
you are you asking me this question?
I know. What I'm picking is, if you love someone, they're going to mess up.
Yeah.
It's given.
Yeah.
They're going to mess up.
Absolutely.
Whether you like it
or not.
They will do things and you will stop looking at them, you'll stop admiring them, you'll stop seeing, ushaona mtu kukosea, taka alikuwa handsome. You feel so disgusted with this person.
Ask me, I've been a pastor for almost 20 years.
You get it. Someone eventually is going to mess up.
Yeah.
How do I forgive that? For example, Rev, I love you. You've gone, you've cheated on me. Hey, then you come because it demands acceptance, because what men want from women is,
admiration.
And I need to accept you. I'm not going to accept that.
No.
I am not going to accept that. So how do we move past that? Is it okay if I walk away?
Yeah, I think you're, listen, here's the thing. Because you talked about two things and I need us to separate them.
Let's do it.
One is, we cannot accept idiotic, immoral, or illegal behavior.
Oh, God.
We must say, law, the kind of law we're talking about has its boundaries. Inside these boundaries is, outside these boundaries is idiotic behavior, illegal behavior,
And
immoral behavior outside of these boundaries. So we're just putting some values. Okay, so that's one. But if for some reason you do something illegal and you come and say, listen, honey, I really messed up. I see my wrong. I want to change. I think we can live with that.
Yeah.
But I think I heard Nameless saying the psychology of forgiveness. If you're going to forgive out of your pure, sheer human space, what do they say? To forgive is divine. It's to understand we're tapping into the divine to forgive someone. We don't love, we forgive because we were forgiven. Somebody who forgives understands that they are flawed.
Yes.
So if you walk in a space where you understand that you're flawed, you can then forgive. Now, of course, we as humans like to look at there are some mistakes, there are some errors, and then there's egregious misdemeanor. So this egregious thing, we have a place where we put some things. We say, if you cheat on me, that is egregious, you're out. Now, the Bible teaches that it is allowed for us to walk away because of adultery. But it doesn't say that it is the only solution. There's forgiveness. And if you agree to forgive, now, here's the thing. You forgive, but you say, look, we cannot continue with serial cheating. We can't be a serial cheater. I say, if somebody, listen, when somebody comes to me and says, Dr. Pete, they've cheated on me 2-3 times and I can't take it, I say, you're justified to walk away from that. Justified. And that's totally biblical basis. If they're physically violent, you're totally justified to walk away from that. Now, even though the Bible doesn't say that, the Bible only gives the only condition. I say, but please stay alive. Excuse me, stay alive. And this goes both ways. If she cheats on you and she's a serial cheat, you can walk away. Notice I said if she cheats on you, because we do it both ways, right?
Yes.
If she beats you, because
Walk
we do
away.
it both ways, you need to be alive, bro.
Yes.
Those are the two spaces that I say walk away. Now, if it means walking away permanently, that's a conversation. And then sometimes it's walking away temporarily. Let them get the help that they need. I ain't your help. Listen, I'm not here to help you stop being violent. I'm here to say, okay, listen, if you can't do that, let's go to a therapist. And if the therapist can't help you, I'm better off staying away from you. Let's keep it like that. And that's the thing, because now this is a reality we're living in.
Goodness, I don't want to end. I feel like I don't want to wind up.
Yeah, there's a lot of things
There's
that I think,
yes.
we need to talk about.
We need to talk.
I'll be back. I'll be back.
Please be back.
Yeah.
Please, guys, you've heard him. He said he's gonna be back.
Yeah.
You know, I'll be your daughter and be like, you said.
You said.
You're gonna be back.
Dad, you said.
You said you're gonna be back. But I don't want to wind up before I ask you this. Because in my line of work, I've dealt with so many stories, and it breaks my heart when marriages fall apart.
Yes.
The pain behind it, the trauma, and people honestly don't love when their marriages are falling apart.
Yeah.
But then sometimes they'll tell you, Lynn, I had no choice. I tried, right? So how can we save our marriages?
Yes.
How can we actually save our marriages?
Yeah, marriages are in trouble. Many marriages are in trouble because the premise for the marriage is wrong. You know, I married for my parents. I married because there was some kind of exchange I was looking for. I married for society. I married because I wanted to be loved. I wanted to be accepted. All of those are, I think, so some of us enter marriage with a wrong understanding. But there are resources now available like never before. We have books, we have websites, we have podcasts, we have therapists, we have pastors, we have all sorts of resources now that are available to help us with our marriages. But I'll say, firstly, let me help your marriage before you get married. Settle on some mutual values. If you marry somebody who does not share the values that you share, you will have problems. I guarantee you. People will have problems. You'll have problems anyway. But if you have you're married to somebody who does not share your values, you will have added problems which you have no idea about at the beginning because you didn't look for values. If you want to go down to the very basics, find two things. I'll say two things. Somebody who shares your values and somebody who understands how to resolve conflicts. You know what the dating sites are teaching? And they've taught this is that the most successful relationships are those who know how to resolve problems. Conflict resolution and shared values, to me, are the two things that are going to guarantee you longevity in your relationship. Wow. So if you share values and you have conflict resolution, your left hand is doing shared values, your right hand is doing conflict resolutions, or whichever you choose, then you have two tools there that can help you. Failing these things, because, sometimes you can't resolve the conflict. Sometimes, your values, some people contradict their own values. So that's when you go to your circle. Remember, we talked about circle of accountability. There's accountability upwards, accountability to peers. So sometimes, many of us, especially super religious people, run to your pastor first thing. Your pastor is not always the one who can solve your problem. What about your circle? So you need to find a boy in your husband or your partner's circle that you can go to and tell on him and say, by the way, your guy is like this. Somebody who can come to him and now say, hey, my guy. So if he doesn't have those kind of people who you can identify with, then the truth is you are already sinking. You are on the Titanic. You are stepping onto the Titanic before you even go far. If you know the ship is going to sink, achana nayo. If the dude you're meeting never introduces you to his friends, never introduces you to his parents and those who are above him, never shows you that he's interested in people who are below him, let me tell you, sweetheart, buy some Enda sneakers and wende.
Move.
Because I always say this, I can do bad all by myself.
Yes.
I don't need your help to do bad at all. I can do it by myself. Bad, nezafanya yangu. But we can't do it together. Please, improve me. Improve me, please. So I'm saying values. I'm saying conflict resolution. And then now, what's your circle? Where's your circle? So your circle is very important. So those things are inside a circle because you're not living in a vacuum.
We are not living in a vacuum.
That's what I'd say. I know I've oversimplified a very complicated thing, but that's what I'd say. So let's keep it simple. If you share values, and you have conflict resolution skills, and then you have a circle of accountability. The reality is you're setting yourself up for success. You're setting yourself up for success.
Yes, and marriage is work.
Yeah, it does. Listen, anything is hard if you don't know how to do it. So your guy behind the camera is Edwin.
Yes.
Edwin knows what he's doing, but you bring somebody who doesn't know cameras to do this thing. He'll now say, even to open the lens, they don't know what to do. So anything that you don't know how to do is hard. If you don't know how to drive, it's hard. If you don't know how to talk, it's hard. If you don't know how to read, it's hard. But if you know how to, then it becomes easy. So what do? Learn how. So how are you going to learn? So look at the scriptures. The scriptures are clear. You read it, you look at the model. And then the things you're supposed to take literally. The things you're supposed to take metaphorically, take them metaphorically. Find your circle, find mentorship. You need models, and then learn how to do it. Find people who, listen, after somebody has done 40 years of marriage, you go and ask them, nini mmefanya muwe kwa ndoa 40 hivi. Tell us. And they'll tell you. Now they may seem old-fashioned. The principles remain the same. Times may change, but the principles remain the same. Yeah, it's like gravity.
Yes.
Gravity is a very simple thing. It's a principle. If you go to the roof of this building, you step off, what's going to happen? You come down. But if you understand the principle of flight, the truth is, gravity is still there, but you're working on a higher principle. So understanding principles will bring you so much. If the principles of marriage are in the principles of covenant. When we understand covenant, life is so simple. It's a principle. There are principles in there. So if we go with just our heart, I guarantee you'll be hurt. You see what I just did there? If you go with just your heart, you will be hurt. But you need to understand. Go with your heart, but please understand principles. They are principles. If you're going to make covenant, as I say, marriage is a covenant. If you're going to cut covenant, with somebody, you know what covenant did that time? They take an animal, they'd kill it, then they'd put it apart, and then you'd walk in between and say, hold hands and say, my life for your life. And for some other people, cut their wrists and do it like this and do it together. We're cutting covenant. If I cut covenant with you, then I am committing to you no matter what. My life for your life. That's what a covenant is. When you're going to a wedding, the person saying my life for your life. That's why I say some of these modern poems, oh, I promise to love you forever. And it all sounds nice. Where's the covenant? Where is that? Listen, my life for your life. I'm going to give everything that I can to help you. I'm going to back you up. I'll fight for you. If I have to go to jail, I'll take a bullet for you. Now that sounds like a romantic song, but this is the commitment. This is the commitment of a covenant. The covenant says, I'll give up what I have to give up to support you. Yes. So people joke with that, but that's the conversation that went out of our modernity when it comes to marriage. Marriage isn't flowers, oh boy. Marriage is not flowers, oh boy. Marriage is not the wedding. Marriage is a covenant. We must commit to that.
Yes. I love that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh God, if I don't wind up, I will not, because I feel like I can actually go another 1 hour listening to you. Yeah. But I would have done a great disservice to my audience if they didn't hear you sing.
Hey, okay. Okay.
Or maybe that's just for me.
Right. Yes. I didn't see that coming. I should have been prepared for that, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Give
I
us
should have been.
something random from the top of your heart.
Hey, yeah.
30 seconds only.
Okay. 30 seconds.
Only. Just want to hear your beautiful voice.
Let's try. It's a new day. It's a new way. A brighter day, chance to make it right. It's a new day. It's a new way. A new beginning. A chance to make it right. A brighter day, a chance to make it right.
God, thank you. Doc,
yeah.
Where can people find you, and what would be your parting shot
to my lovely
Dr.
Pete Odera on all platforms. Dr. Pete Odera on IG.
Yes.
By the way, I'm only on IG and Facebook.
Hey.
I quit Twitter because I couldn't.
I saw another meme.
Yeah.
There's another meme going around on TikTok, people in the ship and stuff. And someone's like, on my way to Kenya to find out why they are so feared on the internet.
Yeah.
And I was like, should I leave Twitter right now? Yeah, but all platforms.
So just look for Dr. Pete Odera on IG, on Facebook.
Yes.
That's where I am. And so all this information goes out there.
Yeah.
And it's a pleasure. My space is not for Moshene.
I know.
My space, I try and bring some of this light to this place.
And that light is what you would greatly help us with this platform.
Right.
If we are not impacting a life, if we are not creating awareness, if we are not helping our society, then we are doing nothing.
I have another platform that I do, and so the teaching, everything that you heard me when I say I teach. I teach on the Waterbrook Ministry. The Waterbrook Ministry Kenya, because there are other Waterbrooks. There's one in Nigeria, there's another in New Zealand. Waterbrook Ministry Kenya. And so look it up on YouTube. I have years worth of material up there.
Beautiful.
And you'll find great teaching about it. And the idea is to let's help people. So my thing is to really help people. And so look me up. I'm on YouTube as well, Pete Odera on YouTube. And you can find my music, you can find my teaching, you can find my book. So just Google me.
Oh, sorry. We're going to Google you.
Google me.
Yes, thank you for blessing us with your time, with
You're
your
welcome,
art.
Lynn. I'm so happy to.
With your art. Personally, for me, your music is it's just something.
Thank you.
Truthfully, it's a gift.
Thank
and
you.
You've used it greatly.
Thank you.
So more grace
Yeah.
And more
Thank
blessings
you.
to you.
Thank
May God bless you and your family.
Yes.
Even
God bless you.
No,
I
honestly,
receive that.
let me give you your flowers.
Give me my flowers.
As you walk into your 25 years of marriage.
Thank you.
May we learn from you.
Yes.
You get it.
Yeah.
I love that you are very honest.
Yes.
You are telling us it's not just a straight line.
Yeah.
Things are going to fall apart sometimes, but this is how to mend them.
Right.
So I hope you can find time again to come here
I will
on
make
our
the
show.
time. I'll make the time.
Yes, and my people, I hope you guys can help us with the topics that you would want Dr. Pete to help us here, tear them apart, because I am honestly willing to go as far as I can to make sure we are impacting our society.
Absolutely.
Before I wind up, what would be your parting shot to my lovely people? I call them my people.
Yeah.
Yes.
My people. Lynn's people. I'd say be real, be real. I know I've talked a lot from a spiritual angle, but the reality is life is real. Life has a spiritual angle to it, but life also has different aspects to it. And if we don't balance it, maybe the statement would be live a life of balance. Live a life of balance. Have your spiritual values as your foundation.
Yes.
And then build on that. Live a life of balance. Have fun. Don't overdo it. Everything in moderation. I think everything needs to be done in moderation.
Yes.
I really feel that if we live a life of balance and find our spiritual values and build it up from there, everything will work out.
Everything will work out. Yes. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And again, more grace to you.
Thank
and may
you.
God
Thank
bless
you.
you. Shall we wind up?
Yes.
All right, my people, I hope you've been blessed by today's episode. I've learned a lot, and I always say it's a learning process for everyone. No one has it all figured out. No one is perfect. We are all human, trying to make the best out of ourselves, and we keep learning. We never stop learning. And he said something important. It's a balance. It's a balance. Everything is a balance, So today, I hope you really got inspired by today's episode. On the comment section also, help me. What kind of content would you want Reverend Dr. Pete to help us with? And I will reach out to him, and I know he will make time, and he will be here with us, right? And if you want to listen to his music, which I highly recommend, my people, his channel is also right here on the screen, pinned on the comment section too. Social handles are here. Msiseme Lynn huku tuambia tutampata wapi, ndio hiyo yote hapo on the screen. Yes. Of course, if you want to reach out to me, my email is also right here on the screen. Send a summary of your story, and who knows, we could be here with you on the next episode of LNS. Let's have an amazing December, guys. It's been this year we've learned a lot, but we keep learning. More grace also to you and your family. Reconciliation, guys. Love above everything. Forgiveness, right? I know we can do that. And of course, I don't get to do this alone. My amazing team, our editors, Sam, Kelvin, and Edgar, and of course, our incredible camera person and director, the legendary himself, Edwin Amekata kuchana nywele siku hizi, Edwin Ochieng. Thank you so much for everything that you do here on the show. We appreciate you. And of course, to you guys for making sure we continue impacting the society one story at a time. Till next time, God bless.